We're going to Tokyo, folks, to visit the Super Potato in Akihabara. We're going to be looking at rare and expensive Game Boy Advance games, and we're going to talk about Fire Emblem. And stay tuned to the end, because we're going to see 7 sealed Game Boy Advance games. Hope you enjoyed the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Quarantine Bunker Studio. I am your man out of Japan, Jake Contra, and we are going back to the 4th floor of Super Potato. We are looking at the showcase. I think today we're going to be focusing on GameCube and Game Boy Advance games with a sprinkling of some other things. We're going to the second half. Again, if this is if you're coming back to this video, we saw some really expensive stuff. If this is your first time looking at something from Super Potato, you've heard about the store, you want to know more about it. It does tend to be more expensive than the competition in Tokyo. This is the Akihabara location. The thing about Super Potato is that it tends to have more foreigners coming in who will pay, I think, more for these games. We do have a lot of gradation based on price, and let's just go in and I'll show you some examples. So, looking at it, when you look at the GameCube games here, let's focus on this. This is stuff that I know. Can you see my mouse? Okay, good, you can. So over here, we've got Killer 7. This is going for about, I think, it's hard to see over the glare. Also, the thing about this, and before I even get into the prices, is just how intimidating, and the GameCube is a really good example of this. It's really intimidating to look at these game labels when they're sort of just shown across, when they're sort of lined up like this, just because you've got all of these like Japanese titles coming at you. If you don't know your kana, you don't know the kanji, you don't know the titles of these games. Like, even though I like to think I'm okay at Japanese, you know, I don't know every game that's out there. So I'm going to see these titles. I have no idea what half of these games are, even though I've been looking at these things for years. I do happen to know all the GameCube games here, but that's not important. Is that just that I think Super Potato, and I think something that a lot of shops can do, is somehow be a little bit more presentable about the games. I don't know how to better describe it. I think, well, and especially like with the GameCube games, they actually, on the other side, they've got them printed in Romaji. The thing about GameCube games, you've actually got one side printed in Japanese in the kana, and then on the other side you've got it printed in the English letters. And so when you think, maybe that's the trick about Super Potato, is that even though its clientele is mostly foreign, I believe at this point, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but at least in my experience, I tend to see way more foreigners in Super Potato than I do Japanese people. But they give you that mystique of a Japanese game shop where it's like everything's in Japanese. They barely have anything in English in Super Potato. I don't know. That's a story for a whole separate video. But looking at it, they've got Killer 7 going for about $45. Again, the price includes tax at Super Potato. It's not true of all Japanese game stores, but it is true here. Consumption tax is about 10% in Japan, and these days it's I think 106, 107 yen to the dollar, at least when I'm filming this. I don't know when I'm actually going to release this. Then we've got 5 copies of Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is definitely one of the more expensive games for the GameCube, although, you know, I would have thought the price would have gone down because it ended up getting remade for the Wii U. I still can't, like, but it's always sort of been $60 to $70. I actually think, I bought mine from Mandarake. No, never mind. Twilight Princess, it's like, I absolutely love Twilight Princess. GameCube is the version to play. Honestly, I would not play it for the Wii because it's like all mirrored, and I actually want to have a controller when I play it. And then, so talking about the scale, the scale of gradation. Actually, where's a better one? Okay, yeah, here's a better one. So here we've got Fire Emblem. I can't remember what the English name was, but this is the GameCube Fire Emblem. We've got 2 different prices here. We've got the one on the left is going for $50, and the one here is going for about $42, depending on your math there. Now, why is that? Now, they've got these labels here, and what drives me absolutely nuts is they don't really give you a whole lot of information on what these labels actually mean. But here we've got this $42 one. It's apparently the box, or probably the sleeve, so Japanese GameCube games, they're plastic shelves shells that have these sort of cardboard sleeves around them. And so GameCubes are like it's very difficult to find like a mint GameCube game just because that cardboard sleeve really gets roughed up by almost any kind of usage. So here we've got the one on the right has apparently big damage to the box and some slight damage, some slight creasing or maybe some scratches to the manual. Now the one on the left, which is $7 more, apparently only just has some damage to the manual. Now, when you see something that says damage to the manual, oftentimes what that just means is that it's just like maybe there's some manuals will tend to like curl on the bottom right hand corner just from usage and from just over time. Like that's just what's going to happen. Or it could be like there's a little maybe a little tear or a little fold somewhere. It's not that big of an issue. And actually for Fire Emblem for like $50, like $42, yeah, this would be for me a buy. Like if I was looking, I already have this, but if I was looking for this, yeah, I would spend $40. I would buy this. Super Potato usually tends to overprice its either extremely rare games or like Famicom, Super Famicom. Not so much N64, but especially GameCube games. Yeah, it can be more expensive, but it's not that much more expensive. And actually, that's not a bad deal. What else do we have? We've got Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2. I'm guessing this is it's the plus version. This one can be sort of hard to find. A couple different versions. I was staying around the like $35, $36 range for that. Because, yeah, there's a couple of different Phantasy Star Onlines. There's the one, I think it's 1 and 2. I think it's like there's like a patched version that's like really expensive, and then there's like the basic version, which is like $10. Because like it's Phantasy Star Online. You're not playing it online anymore. You're just buying it to complete a collection. And then we've got this. Okay, this copy of Homeland is very interesting. It's very rare. You don't see it that often. So Homeland was, much like Phantasy Star Online, was an RPG that was meant to be played online. And so Homeland, it's very cute, it's very cool, very fun. You just go around and you just beat monsters up. It's got a cool story. You can find the basic version of it, which is just the game, for like $10, $20. Here, this is the one that includes the broadband adapter. And the broadband adapter for the GameCube is actually very expensive. It's very hard to find. This is the copy where I don't even think you could find this in stores. I think you had to I think you had to mail order this, I think. But this is going for $60, which actually I don't think it's that bad. But it's not something that I see that often, so I don't definitively know the price. And then here on the far right, we've got a copy of Metal Gear, and I mean Metal Gear. This is the GameCube port of the original Metal Gear. I don't think it's the one for the Famicom. I think it's the one for the MSX. I believe it is that version. So this is a game you did not actually find for sale. This copy of Metal Gear is actually something that was included with the Twin Snakes Metal Gear version of the GameCube. It was a silver GameCube. I think it was a silver GameCube that also had some like Metal Gear like iconography or icons on it somewhere. That is very hard to find. It is very expensive. You do see the game sold loose every once in a while. It wasn't officially sold, but you see it resold. $100 is it's about right. It's not terrible. And it's apparently, you can see the scuffing on the box here. They're saying that's small. So they're saying there's small damage to the box. I don't know, man. That Mandarake would say that's pretty big. But that's just my guess. Looking at some other things, hopefully I scroll up a little bit. Looking over here, we've got Wizardry. For some reason, Wizardry games tend to be really expensive. Gunstar Heroes is going for about $55, upper 50s. That's not bad. Let's see, we got a Goemon Game Boy Advance game going from we've got $55 over here on the right. And on the left, that's going for $75. Wow. And then we'll move over. Here we've got Hunter x Hunter going for $36. There we go. Yeah, up nice and close. So this is the one. That's my white whale right now in terms of video game collecting is Castlevania. What is this? Aria of Sorrow. Yeah, seeing it, I've seen a real beat up one go for, I want to say $110 at Trader. This one looks like it's in good condition, and it's going for, looks like $180. Low end's $160. All the box isn't too bad. That's not terrible. I've seen it about the same price at Mandarake. You'd be lucky to find it cheaper at say like at Trader. At Mandarake, it'd be about the same price. Trader, maybe 150. Friends, I'm still kicking myself for not buying it at Friends because I saw it for $110 once, and it was a mistake not to buy it then. Next to it, we've got, what is that? Harmony of Dissonance. That's the sort of the second. So Aria of Sorrow is the third one for the Game Boy Advance. Circle of the Moon is the first for the Game Boy Advance, and Harmony of Dissonance is number 2. It's the cheaper. It's one of the cheaper ones, and it's going for like $90. It's not terrible. If you hunt around, maybe you could find it for like 80. Again, if you're lucky. And these prices do include tax. So sort of keep that in mind in your calculation. That's something I have to do because you'll see it at like Mandarake. I wouldn't be surprised to see it for like 20,000 yen, which is about this price. But it's 22,000 yen because you got to include that price of tax in the Mandarake price. That does not include tax. We've got some Kunio-kun games here. I'm not familiar with those. We got Gradius Generations going for 50. You've got, is that the best version? Yeah, so another thing, and this is true of also the Castlevanias, is for the Konami games, they came out with like a player's choice or a greatest hits version that sometimes, like I know myself, I try to avoid those because I want like the original version. I've actually been burned because I actually bought a version of Castlevania that it's got like like this, especially for DS, the DS Castlevanias, they've got reversible covers where it's like the outside is the best cover that has like a white frame on everything, and then you can reverse it and it's the original cover, but there are some little differences. But if you just want to play the game, it's the exact same game. It just depends upon you and what you want to collect. Gradius, of course, the big shooter going for $50. Then we've got Game Boy Wars Advance. In Japan, Game Boy Wars, Advance Wars 1 and 2 came on the same cart, whereas in America they were released separately. These are going for about $50 here, $55 here. That's not terrible. You could probably get it cheaper at Surugaya, but if you can't find it, it's very hard to find. Yeah, I wouldn't be against buying these versions here. What else do we have? We got like just Game Boy Advances. Just as a side note, Game Boy Advance games are crazy expensive now. Although these, all right, here we got some more gradation. We got the Fire Emblem games. We got all 3 of them released for the Game Boy Advance. I forgot what their names are in English, so please excuse me. This is the one that I think has Roy on the cover. $70, like $63. No way. These you could probably find for the mid-30s at Trader. They're not that expensive. This is again going because this is better condition, and also you're probably targeting foreigners who want to play the Fire Emblems. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't all the Fire Emblems released in English on the Game Boy Advance? And they're not that expensive, so yeah, I don't know why. Like Fire Emblem, these are good games, like don't get me wrong, but yeah, it just shouldn't be this expensive. Like $55 for this Fire Emblem? No, I don't think so. I think this was just Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance in America, right? Am I wrong? And then we've got the other Fire Emblem. This is like, it's got the 2 like bluish green haired people on the front. Again, I wish they showed the covers on these, just so you get a better idea of what they actually are. Man, but yeah, $40. Yeah, it's not terrible. And then a couple of other games. Oh, is that Breath of Fire 3? Man, $75 for Fire Emblem 3? What? Then here, this, I feel like this is way cheaper at Trader. You notice so the thing that Super Potato especially does is the games that like foreigners want, it really charges high prices for. Like they definitely have the highest price on on Mother 2 for the Super Famicom that I've ever seen. Like, I'm talking like 3-4 times the price you'll find at Trader. Like, I'm talking like 7,000 yen, like $60. Whereas at Trader, hard off, it's like a $20 game. Mother 1 plus 2 for the Game Boy Advance, and this is like the player's choice version. Going for like $65, no way. That's way too expensive. And a couple of other games. We got Metarot, which is always seems to be expensive for some reason. And then we've got, oh wow. We got Contra Spirits. What is that? Yeah, Contra Hard Spirits, which is a remake of Super Contra, or what? Not Super C, but Alien Wars for the Super Famicom. This is a Game Boy Advance remake. $80. Wow, look at that. Even getting to almost $100 for the one on the left. Wow. What have we got? Then we've got the Donkey Kong. Let's see, Donkey Kong 2 and 3 for the Game Boy Advance, going for about $40 to $45. About the same price for Donkey Kong 3. I'm guessing these are like the Super Famicom versions, just ported to the Game Boy Advance. And then if you look at this, this is another phenomenon that I've talked about. Hopefully, can I see the price there? That looks like it's probably, I can't see the price on that one. Yeah, but so the thing about this is going to be a ROM collection or an arcade collection of Konami games. You find that there's a lot of collection games that, I say this all the time, and I'll restate it just in case you're new to this video and you're new to the channel. But a big phenomenon in Japanese game collecting is you have these collections for contemporary systems. So this is probably a collection of arcade games that was released, like, this was probably released in like the early 2000s, and it's a collection of games from like the early 90s. So it's like hitting on that nostalgia factor. But somehow these end up also being expensive. Like, you have a bunch of like collections for like the PlayStation of like Famicom games that got to be like up, they're starting to get like 60, 70, 80, even sometimes $100 for like ROM sets. It's just baffling to me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's driving the that price. And like, look at this, like Metroid Zero Mission for $50. I mean, I guess I was lucky when I found my copy, but 50 seems to be a bit expensive. 45, I suppose. What else have they got? Oh, Rock. Okay, so they've got, okay. Oh boy. All right, we got a lot of stuff to unpack here. So it's not uncommon to see sealed games, like never before opened, new copies of games at Super Potato. You can find them occasionally at Trader and Mandarake as well. I would say Super Potato tends to have more of them. So look at this copy of Zero Mission. These, 6 copies of Zero Mission. We've got what is almost mint over here going for 5,300 yen, rounding. It's about $48. And then we've got a new copy, brand new, unopened, going for $100. So grading Japanese games is not quite a thing yet. Sealed collecting is not a thing yet in Japanese games, although I will say I think I'm seeing more sealed games than I have in the past. But it's still not like you don't see them. Like, look at that price difference. You're paying double. You're paying $100 for a copy of Metroid Zero Mission. Whereas, like, when you think about a game like Link's Awakening for the Super Famicom, Link's Awakening is like, even at Super Potato, it's like a $40 or $50 game when it's used in good condition. Whereas Complete, it's like a $400 game. So think about that difference. I'm surprised for the Game Boy Advance, considering how hot the Game Boy Advance is. At the moment, I'm surprised it's not bigger. And then you go over to like Rockman and Forte. Like, man, look at... That's not... Okay, it's not a terrible price difference. You've got the one on the left going for about $45. The one on the right going for about $57. Like, when you look at here, so what's up with this one? Why is it so much cheaper? It's because the box has some damage to it, as well as the manual. Whereas over here, it's just the box has a little bit of scuffs. Maybe that's what this is over here. None of these look like they're in mint condition, And I wonder what happened to those. Maybe those just get gobbled up. Maybe, that's something that's maybe is happening in Japan, where all of the money is flowing towards the real mint, the real untouched, undamaged copies of games. And maybe you just don't see them anymore. And then we've got Rockman and Exe 3 Black. I don't know that much about it. I should say this one, interesting. So here it's got the box and the manual have some damage to them, and it's going for 4,900 yen. This one is $3 more expensive, but it's missing some kind of kadodasu. It's missing some kind of like commemorative card that was included with it. Yet it's more expensive, but its manual is apparently in better condition. Then we got some big ones here. We got a bunch of shooters. So let's see, what do we got here? What is this? Street Fighter 2? Street Fighter 2 Revival going for $50, and then we also have Taiketsu Ultra Hero. Never seen that before. Oh, Double Dragon. Oh my God. See, I love Double Dragon, but Jesus, this is one that got real expensive. It was one of the earliest Game Boy Advance games to get super expensive. This is an Atlas released Double Dragon for the Game Boy Advance. I remember seeing it years ago for like $200, and now it is a $300 Game Boy Advance game. It's crazy. It's up there with Metal Slug and a couple of other games, to where it's one of the most expensive Game Boy Advance games, which is a shame, because like Double Dragon's such a cool series, and to see one that is locked behind such a high price. Like, look at these. Like, we've got one over here. Like, even with the manual and the box, the manual and the box being damaged, $310. And then the cheap one, which is like, a best price version. So think about it, this used to be sold for probably $30 back in the day when it was first released. And now it is going for $270 in a little bit of a roughed up condition. That's crazy. And then we got Darius R going for $85. We've got, what is this? Ghosts and Goblins 2 for $85. I don't know what that is. Look like a couple collection ROM sets here. And then, is that a new copy of what is that? Steel Empire? That's crazy. A bunch of new games. So what do they got? They got Steel Empire. This is normally like a $50 game if you find it in decent condition. A new copy here going for $100. I can't see this. This is, what is this? Street Fighter 2 Revival. So what was it? It was $40 just now. And here's a copy for $70 if you want it. Then a couple of other games that I can't tell. And then here we've got Tactics Ogre Gaiden, the limited deluxe pack. Tactics Ogre Gaiden. That's the Knight of Lotus. That's a $20 game at most. And then here you've got the special edition going for $55. Is there anything else here? No, I think, yeah, that looks like it's it. Yeah, some really incredible stuff, especially for the Game Boy Advance. Again, I think the Game Boy Advance is probably going to start cooling off. I think the DS is where all of the money's starting to flow now. But Super Potato, I think, is where you're going to see the highest prices, especially on this kind of stuff. As I've recommended at the end, and I will continue to do in every video, when we're in Japan, hopefully when all this craziness blows over and we're able to actually travel again, and you're in Japan, you're in Tokyo, look, you're going to be surrounded. When you're in Akihabara, you're going to be within 5 minutes walk from 6 different retro game stores. You will save so much money by walking around and by going and shopping around at different prices. You're going to be tempted to go to Super Potato, and I always go to Super Potato just to see what they have, because it's the big one. It's the one that everyone knows. You see videos of it all over the place. You see pictures of it in articles. But it tends to have the worst price on basically most games, but not all games. For a while, I think I said this last video, it has the best price. It had for a while the best prices on Dreamcast and Sega Saturn games. But just my recommendation is, when you go to Super Potato, take a note of the prices, take a picture of the things that you want, and then go to Trader, go to Mandarake, go to Friends, compare the price, see what it's like, and then if Super Potato is the one that has the games that you want, then buy it from Super Potato. Sometimes, yeah, Super Potato is the one place that will have the games that you want, but that's not always true. And just be very careful when you're in Japan and you're buying games, especially when you go to Super Potato. It does have a reputation of gouging tourists, foreign tourists, that I believe is earned, but is not always true. So I'm going to end it here before I can continue rambling. I have been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra. This has been the Fourth Floor Showcase at Super Potato in Akihabara. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And mahalo. If you'd like to see exclusive Japanese game collecting videos and have access to polls that help decide the future of the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/jcontra.